Oh, hello there. My name is Jennifer Ann Richter, and I am the author of Bird Nerd, a middle grade novel coming out October 22nd. Let me get that there. Yeah, there it is. To give you a little taste of the story, I'm going to read the first chapter. So, without further ado, here we go. Nyla Braun sat on her hands, sealed her lips, and pictured a yellow-rumped warbler snapping up a mosquito. Anything to keep from breaking the squirmy silence that followed Mrs. Green's question. Nyla disliked squirmy silences. To her, they were as loud and irritating as the cry of a red-tailed hawk. Come on, people, you know this. Fists on hips and in full drill sergeant mode, Mrs. Green had been shouting rapid-fire questions, but only getting slow dribble answers. Not all that surprising to Nyla. By now, most of her classmates were already mentally out the door. It was Friday afternoon, after all, and the wall clock ticked ever so close and ever so slowly to 3. But here was the problem. Nyla had already swooped in and answered 2 questions in a row. One more, and she risked a round of sneers from Curtis and the gang. That, or a great job, Encyclopedia Braun. Probably both. Which was why now she kept her mouth shut and imagined that warbler darting around in a sycamore tree, patches of yellow peeking out from its rump and under its wings. Mrs. Green let out a sigh. I'll ask again. If you see a yellow-rumped warbler at your bird feeder in the morning, and then one at noon, and then one at 3 o'clock, how many do you record for the day? More silence. Nyla shifted her focus to the folder on her desk. Spring Birding Tournament. Anderson Elementary, aka the City Birders, versus Penn Elementary, aka the Burb Birders. Stuffed inside were the tournament rules and other materials she'd need for the birding battle between her class and the one from the suburbs, which would be kicking off next Friday via video chat. After that, the classes would meet every Friday, except for spring break, as well as for 2 special Trivia Tuesday contests. Nyla couldn't wait to get her first glimpse of the competition. She just hoped they didn't all show up in safari clothes and carrying binoculars. At the same time, she hoped her city birder classmates would show at least 1 ounce of excitement. Let's see, Miguel said, breaking Nyla's concentration. She watched him tap his pencil against his temple like he was thinking hard, but Nyla could tell he was just being funny. He and Curtis competed for class clown status. Miguel was more bearable, though, which was a good thing since he sat right next to her. Nyla glanced up at the clock, and her resistance broke. One yellow-rumped warbler. Correct, said Mrs. Green, slumping her shoulders in relief. Then she straightened back into full drill sergeant mode. And why? Uh-oh, question number 4. Nyla cut her gaze to Miguel, then said, because it could be the same bird each time? Yes, but what if we know for sure that one was male and the other female? Can't we just say 2? Nyla shook her head. No, because it'll mess up our results, because for some birds the males and females look exactly alike and we wouldn't be able to tell, like blue jays. So then those species would always be counted less. And we want to count all the different bird species the same way, so we're not counting some birds more and messing up the squawk. Nyla winced and twisted in her seat. Curtis. Either him or a minion egged him on to do it. Mrs. Green narrowed one eye, then opened her mouth to speak, but was drowned out by the ding-dong-ding of the closing bell. Throwing up her hands, she let out a breath, then reminded everyone in class to submit photos of their bird feeder stations by Wednesday evening at the latest. The sounds of backpack zippers and squeaking chairs filled the 5th grade classroom next. Mrs. Green breezed past Nyla, most certainly to give somebody a talking to. Turning around to watch would have been awkward, though, so Nyla eyed her birding tournament folder again, trying to imagine what could motivate her class to get excited. Because right now, things weren't looking too good. But really, should that have been a shock? For some people, okay, most people, bird watching had to be one of the nerdiest hobbies out there. On the other hand, Mrs. Green had hinted at a huge prize for the winning class, plus extra credit for participating. That should be enough motivation, shouldn't it? And speaking of motivation, Nyla had tons of it. Maybe enough for half the class, who knew? Maybe she alone could lead the city birders to victory. It could be like last year when she helped her class, many of the same kids, win the 4th grade math Olympics. True, some of her classmates had thought that competition was nerdy too, but they all sure enjoyed that hoagie party Nyla won for them. She soaked up the cheers and appreciation like a sunbathing cormorant. And for a while, she wasn't Encyclopedia Braun, until she was again. Now she had another chance to win a big prize for her classmates and leave Anderson Elementary on a high. She'd once again be the girl who was smart and popular all wrapped up in one. Yes, one more chance. As she packed up her bird folder, Nyla's cheeks warmed with pride. What? She whipped around, startled by two pokes to her right shoulder. Miguel, who she thought was already in the dismissal line, leaned close, his hand curved around his mouth as if he were about to spill a secret. Then, in the loudest whisper possible, he said, "We're gonna lose." So thanks so much for listening. So are they gonna lose, or do you think they have a chance? Well, you can find out starting October 22nd when Bird Nerd releases to the world. Bye for now.